Hi, my name is Katie Markham, and I am so honored and grateful to be able to share my story and journey with you all today. It's one I never thought I would find myself on, but I am grateful for the road that it's put me on and the things I've been able to learn. So I am a wife and a mom to 3 children, ages 13 to 22. I have always been an athlete. I was a Division I athlete, a 3-sport athlete, and I was very hard on my body, very hard. So I always knew that joint pain and arthritis was that would be my future because I didn't take care of my body. I've had 21 orthopedic surgeries, and that's a lot. So in April of 2011, I had a basic knee surgery. And a week later, my knee went from 15 inches to 33 inches. When I went to the emergency room, I had 104.5 temperature and a blood pressure of 279 over 197. They sent me home the next day and said I had a staph infection. 2 days later, I went septic with 106.3 temperature. My brain was starting to swell. So that led me to 6 surgeries in 8 weeks, a PICC line going to my heart for over 4 months. And it would take me anywhere from 7 to 9 hours to get all my medication through my IV every day. And I also had oral medication on top of that. So I am 6 foot tall and I was 94 pounds at one point. So it didn't look good, to say the least. So after I was better, and I mean better by, I didn't think I was going to lose my life or my leg, I still felt terrible. I didn't have an immune system. My blood work was crazy. Like my CRP level, my inflammation in my body, at my sickest, it was 352. And high is 10. So the amount of pain I was in, it was just awful. I'm sure I was depressed because I didn't sleep. I didn't want to get out of bed. I had no energy. And if my son had an 8 o'clock ball game, I would say, what time's the second one? Then I would pray for noon. So that way I could get out of bed and be able to get there. And that broke my heart because there was one thing I've always known I wanted to be in this life, and that was a mom. So for me to not be able to be a mom it killed me. And I mean, I would will myself to get up and to do things and I just felt terrible. So that started the cycle of, well, we got to get you on this medication and that'll help, but then we'll have to get you on this medication because the side effects from that medication. And I started down that road. My migraines came back. I had migraines, but with cluster tendencies. And those were hereditary. I got from my father. He'd actually had 3 brain surgeries for cluster headaches. So I would have anywhere from 17 to 20 migraine days a month. So put that on top of feeling terrible, not sleeping, no energy, blood work just wonky, and the pain. I just didn't want to get out of bed. So I think what scared me the most is seeing the constant and more medication they kept putting me on, because I knew the outcome. And to sit there and know what the outcome's going to be and not be able to see a different way scared me to death. My dad had been sick pretty much all my life. And he, had to give himself shots, and he had medication, and he had to have medication sometimes to save his life, and then medication to give him a quality of life. And so I'd been down this road with him my entire life. So in I noticed at the end of 2009 that my dad was getting sick, and I knew something was wrong, and I knew this time it was different. I knew. I left work then to be with him, take him to a couple of minor surgeries at the end of that year. In mid-January, he called me and asked me to get him to his doctor by noon so we didn't have to go through the ER. And I did. And that had been his doctor for, I don't even know, 25 years. And I'll never forget him saying, Ron, I don't think we can fix you this time. I don't think I can. And I knew in my heart and soul that it was different. It was different this time. So they put him in the hospital for 2 weeks. Halfway through, they kept thinking he was in congestive heart failure. Halfway through that stay, they figured out it wasn't his heart, it was actually his liver. So all that medication that they had to give him, that he took his entire life, now was killing him. And they discharged him. And he came home for a week, and I took care of him every day. But I will never forget that my dad, he was skin and bones, and I didn't realize that I helped him take his shirt off, and I was dumbfounded. It broke my heart. So to take care of him every day and night for a week as he died of liver failure was heartbreaking to me. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And to know that it was because of medication is frustrating. And at the time, it wasn't as frustrating then as it is now. But then to sit there and know that they keep adding medication to me every single day, and to know what the outcome is. The outcome is going to be that I die of liver failure, that it's going to do irreparable damage to my body. And to sit there and know it and feel helpless and powerless against it. Because I didn't know there was another way. What do you do? So I had a trainer that I used to work out with. And I saw him. And he was like, what happened to you? You look like a walking corpse. And I told him. So he texted me late one night, like really late. And he said, oh, you come over at 8 a.m. And I thought, 8 a.m.? Are you kidding me? But I did it, probably looking like death warmed over. And I made the decision right then to come in with the Be Fulfilled pack. And I knew my body didn't have remotely what it needed. I knew that it was depleted of everything. And worst case scenario was it didn't do anything. Best case, it did what I thought it was going to do, what I prayed it was going to do. So I immediately, and by immediately, I mean within a couple days, I started to feel like an entirely new person. So my blood work started to change. I hadn't moved in 16 months. And within 2 weeks, my blood work started to change and started to go in the right direction. And I could get out of bed and be a mom. And I think that that's one of the best things I could have been given back was the ability to be a mom. Because my dad was such a crucial role in my life. And he was so supportive and always there. That for me to sit back and not be there for my children killed me. And I knew they didn't understand it. And I didn't want them to understand it, honestly. So just being able to be a mom again and to give my mom, or to give my kids their mom back, it was huge for me. And now for me to be able to know there's another way, and to know that somebody cared enough about me to show me there was something else out there, changed my life. And I feel that that's my calling, is to tell others how there is another way. Because I wish I would have known there's another way with my dad. So I am thankful for you listening to my story. And I also will say that I coach, and I've got two nephews that play. One plays overseas, and one is in the NBA. And I've got a son that's a very great baseball player. And I will say that at any level, I don't hesitate, whether it's my children or somebody else's children, to recommend and say, this will set your child up for the place they need to be in life as far as their health, and start on good habits instead of starting down the wrong road and then trying to go back and correct it. So I have no problem, and I'm grateful when I'm able to say something and to share them. So thank you so much for your time. Bye.